The chalice will be lit today by David Love. Please join me in reading the words provided for you as we light the chalice. We light this chalice in honor of the families we build, the circles we choose, the bonds shaped by care. May this flame remind us that love is the tie that makes us kin. Thank you, David. Now we have a story for all ages.
And illustrated by Janelle Cannon. In a warm and sultry forest far, far away, there once lived a mother fruit bat and her new baby. Oh, how Mother Bat loved her soft, tiny baby. "I'll name you Stella Luna," she crooned. Each night, Mother Bat would carry Stella Luna clutched to her breast as she flew out to search for food. One night, as Mother Bat followed the heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. On silent wings, the powerful bird swooped down upon the bats. Dodging and shrieking, Mother Bat tried to escape, but the owl struck again and again, knocking Stella Luna into the air. Her baby wings were as limp and useless as wet paper. Down, down she went, faster and faster, into the forest below. The dark leafy tangle of branches caught Stella Luna as she fell. One twig was small enough for Stella Luna's tiny feet. Wrapping her wings about her, she clutched the thin branch, trembling with cold and fear. "Mother," Stella Luna squeaked, "where are you?" By daybreak, the baby bat could hold on no longer. Down, down again she dropped. Plump! Stella Luna landed head first in a soft, downy nest, startling the 3 baby birds who lived there. Stella Luna quickly clambered from the nest and hung out of sight below it. She listened to the babble of the 3 birds. "What was that?" cried Flap. "I don't know, but it's hanging by its feet," chirped Flitter. "Shh! Here comes Mama," hissed Pip. Many, many times that day, Mama Bird flew away, always returning with food for her babies. Stella Luna was terribly hungry, but not for the crawly things Mama Bird brought. Ugh! Finally, though, the little bat could bear it no longer. She climbed into the nest, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. Plop! In dropped a big, green grasshopper. Stella Luna learned to be like the birds. She stayed awake all day and slept at night. She ate bugs, even though they tasted awful. Her bat ways were quickly disappearing. Except for one thing. Stella Luna still liked to sleep hanging by her feet. Once, when Mama was away, the curious baby birds decided to try it too. When Mama Bird came home, she saw 8 tiny feet gripping the edge of the nest. "Eek!" she cried. "Get back up here this instant! You are going to fall and break your necks!" The birds clambered back into the nest, but Mama Bird stopped Stella Luna. "You are teaching my children to do bad things. I will not let you back into this nest unless you promise to obey all the rules of this house." Stella Luna promised. She ate bugs without making any faces. She slept in the nest at night, and she didn't hang by her feet. Stella Luna behaved as a good bird should. All the babies grew quickly. Soon, the nest became crowded. Mama Bird told them it was time to learn to fly. One by one, Pip, Flitter, Flap and Stellaluna jumped from the nest. Their wings worked! I'm just like them, thought Stellaluna. I can fly too. Pip, Flitter, and Flap landed gracefully on a branch. Stellaluna tried to do the same. How embarrassing! I will fly all day, Stellaluna told herself. Then no one will see how clumsy I am. The next day, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stellaluna went flying far from home. They flew for hours, exercising their new wings. The sun is setting, warned Flitter. We had better go home or we'll get lost in the dark, said Flap. But Stellaluna had flown far ahead and was nowhere to be seen. The three anxious birds went home without her. All alone, Stellaluna flew and flew until her wings ached and she dropped into a tree. I promised not to hang by my feet, Stellaluna sighed. So she hung by her thumbs and soon fell asleep. She didn't hear the soft sound of wings coming near. Hey, a loud voice said, why are you hanging upside down? Stellaluna's eyes opened wide. She saw a most peculiar face. I'm not upside down. You are, Stellaluna said. Ah, but you're a bat. Bats hang by their feet. You are hanging by your thumbs. So that makes you upside down, the creature said. I'm a bat. I am hanging by my feet. That makes me right side up. Stellaluna was confused. Mama Bird told me I was upside down. She said I was wrong. Wrong for a bird, maybe, but not for a bat. More bats gathered around to see the strange young bat who behaved like a bird. Stellaluna told them her story. You ate bugs? Stuttered one. You slept at night? Gasped another. How very strange, they all murmured. Wait, let me look at this child. A bat pushed through the crowd. An owl attacked you? She asked. Sniffing Stellaluna's fur, she whispered, You are Stellaluna. You are my baby. You escaped the owl? Cried Stellaluna. You survived? Yes, said Mother Bat as she wrapped her wings around Stellaluna. Come with me and I'll show you where to find the most delicious fruit. You'll never have to eat another bug as long as you live. But it's nighttime, Stellaluna squeaked. We can't fly in the dark or we will crash into trees. We're bats, said Mother Bat. We can see in darkness. Come with us. Stellaluna was afraid, but she let go of the tree and dropped into the deep blue sky. Stellaluna could see. She felt as though rays of light shone from her eyes. She was able to see everything in her path. Soon the bats found a mango tree, and Stellaluna ate as much of the fruit as she could hold. I'll never eat another bug as long as I live, cheered Stellaluna as she stuffed herself full. I must tell Pip, Flitter, and Flap. The next day, Stellaluna went to visit the birds. Come with me and meet my bat family, said Stellaluna. Okay, let's go, agreed Pip. They hang by their feet and they fly at night and they eat the best food in the world, Stellaluna explained to the birds on the way. As the birds flew among the bats, Flap said, I feel upside down here. So the birds hung by their feet. Wait until dark, Stellaluna said excitedly. We will fly at night. When night came, Stellaluna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap leapt from the tree to follow her. I can't see a thing, yelled Pip. Neither can I, howled Flitter. Ah! Shrieked Flap. They're going to crash, gasped Stellaluna. I must rescue them. Stellaluna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air. She lifted them to a tree, and the birds grasped a branch. Stellaluna hung from the limb above them. We're safe, said Stellaluna. Then she sighed. I wish you could see in the dark, too. We wish you could land on your feet, Flitter replied. Pip and Flap nodded. They perched in silence for a long time. How can we be so different and feel so much alike? Mused Flitter. And how can we feel so different and be so much alike? Wondered Pip. I think this is quite a mystery, Flap chirped. I agree, said Stellaluna. But we're friends, and that's a fact.
That's so sweet. Now is the time for sharing of joys and concerns. Tina, please stop recording. At MVUC, we use
Lucia turned his gaze upward and said, I have learned that the angels will not ask me, why weren't you a Moses, leading your people out of slavery? His followers persisted with their questioning. So what will they ask you? Lucia sighed a deep sigh. I have learned that the angels will not ask me, why weren't you a Joshua, leading your people into the promised land? His followers were growing more curious and more concerned. One of them approached Lucia and placed his hands on Lucia's shoulders. Looking him in the eyes, the follower demanded, what will they ask you? Lucia sighed another deep sigh and said, they will say to me, Lucia, there was only one thing that no power of heaven or earth could have prevented you from becoming. They will say, Lucia, why weren't you Lucia? Oscar Wilde, in typical Oscar Wilde fashion, said something similar in his famous line, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. One of my favorite lines, truly. To be ourselves boldly, courageously, vulnerably, is to tap into the deeper reality of our own soul. Not who we should be, and certainly not an idealized, perfect version of ourselves, but who we are as most our authentic and genuine selves. This is the self that is animated by the spirit of life, the spark of the divine. Unfortunately, there are many pressures that derail and alienate us from being this true self. There are societal pressures to conform. There are pressures to be young, thin, rich, to have the right house, cars, clothes, to go on the right kinds of vacations, to adhere to society's standards of what it means to be successful. There are pressures to be in certain kinds of relationships, to behave in certain ways, to believe certain things. Sometimes we buy into all or some of these expectations, spending an inordinate amount of time, money, and energy to pursue them. At some point, they become internalized. The comparisons we make of ourselves to our heroes are unrealistic and often harmful. Have you caught yourself saying things like, why can't I be more generous and sweet like Dolly Parton, or intelligent and poised like the Obamas? What have I done with my life compared to young environmental activist Greta Thunberg? Rather than being inspired by these public figures to be our true selves, it can bleed into wanting to take on their personas. If only I could be this person or that person, we think then I'd finally be content. But that isn't how it works. People who get what they want often find they still have an emphasis in emptiness inside. Something still seems to be missing. Henry David Thoreau, famous Unitarian naturalist and essayist, was known for marching to the beat of a different drummer. His advice was quite close to what true belonging is currently defined as. Be yourself, not your idea of what you think somebody else's idea of yourself should be. Furthermore, E. E. Cummings said, to be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day, making you everybody else, means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting. To be nobody but yourself does not mean proving ourselves to or pleasing anyone else. It doesn't mean living by society's standards. It doesn't mean we have to fake it so we can try to fit in. And it certainly doesn't mean being someone else. Brene Brown, in her book, Braving the Wilderness, stated, true belonging is not something you negotiate externally. It's what you carry in your heart. It's finding the sacredness and being a part of something. So many of us long to be part of something real, but we'll need to risk discomfort and criticism and show the world ourselves first. Now that's easier said than done, right? So what exactly does this mean? Does it mean just do whatever you want, don't worry about how it affects others? New York Times columnist Adam Grant says the advice to be yourself can turn out to be terrible, and here's why. We all have thoughts and feelings that we believe are fundamental to our lives, but that are better left unspoken. A decade ago, the author, A.J. Jacobs, spent a few weeks trying to be totally authentic. He announced to an editor that he would try to sleep with her if he were single and informed his nanny that he would like to go on a date with her if his wife left him. Interesting. He informed a friend's 5-year-old daughter that the beetle in her hands was not napping, but dead. Oh, it's the truth. He told his in-laws that their conversation was boring. And you can imagine how this experiment worked out. So living as your true self does not mean trample on everyone else's sensibilities, like a bull in a china shop. There ought to be a degree of self-awareness and good sense. This includes an openness to learning and growing, to acquiring new skills, to doing the work of deep reflection, to maintaining healthy boundaries and sharing appropriately. Being yourself isn't carte blanche to be unkind, petty, or simply awful. And why being yourself is not good advice, author Stephen Joseph for Psychology Today writes, advising someone who doesn't seem to know themselves and who doesn't take responsibility just to be themselves isn't helpful to that person, as they won't know what it means. They might even feel encouraged in their bad habits. To be authentic, we first need to know ourselves in such a way that we have self-awareness and self-knowledge. Then, we must take responsibility for our choices in life. Authentic people recognize that they are the authors of their own lives. Finally, we know ourselves and we take responsibility for our choices if it makes sense for us to be ourselves. Brene Brown offers a series of questions that we can use to assess our self-awareness and ability to take responsibility. The questions include, Did I respect my own boundaries, being clear about what is and isn't okay? Did I do what I said I would do? Did I hold myself accountable? Did I respect confidences and share appropriately? Did I act with integrity, practicing my values? Did I ask for what I needed? Finally, was I generous toward myself? When we are able to share ourselves in healthy ways that reflect self-understanding and responsibility, then we are being our authentic selves. That is the self we are trying to bring forward. What's so amazing to me, and also somewhat paradoxical, is that being our true selves requires that we take the risk of being different, of naming our own truths, of knowing who we are, and living from who we are. That can seem to separate us from others. It will make us stand out, not blend in. That takes courage. It distinguishes us from others by allowing our uniqueness, our gifts, our way of being to emerge. This makes us visible to others and also vulnerable. It differentiates us. And that ability to be seen and be vulnerable is also what allows us to truly belong to something. When that happens, we come to know what we are not alone. As Brene Brown says, true belonging is finding the sacredness in being part of something. When we reach this place, even momentarily, we belong everywhere and nowhere. The more I am myself, the more I am able to be in community. The more I am myself, the more I am able to belong everywhere and nowhere. When I get to the end of my life, when I get to the end of today, this week, this month, the question I fear facing, if I am not myself, is this: why weren't you? My longing is to be nobody but myself and to be part of something larger than myself, something real. To be part of a spiritual community that is willing to live boldly, to take risks together, to know themselves, to be known, to create more joy in the world. The Unitarian Universalist flaming chalice symbolizes these possibilities for me. It represents these possibilities of love and care. It reminds me of the spark of the divine within me and within everyone else too. It reminds me that I belong to something larger than myself. It inspires me to live boldly, compassionately, and in service to life. May it be so.
Thank you, Demetrius. Just a reminder that in 2 weeks, Dr. Dworsky, did I pronounce that correctly, Kevin? Will visit us from BGSU to speak about loneliness and, to some extent, belonging. As we did last week, we will pass out index cards and pens for anyone to write wonderings about these topics for Dr. Dworsky to use to develop his specific presentation. Bob, can you pass around the basket, please? You can submit another question, even if you submitted one last week. This is optional, as always. We will pause now to give you a few moments of quiet contemplation and a chance to write down questions that pertain to our topic. They can be personal, specific, general, or anonymous as you wish. You can drop them into the basket at the Zoom table as you leave today. Now let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this church, which is important to so many of us. We gratefully dedicate this offering to the good of the church, the wider community, and the world. If you make automatic pledge payments, please place one of the yellow cards indicating this support in the basket if you wish. If you want today's contribution to count towards your annual pledge, please put it in an envelope with your name on the front so we know who to credit to.
Now for our closing words. Our closing words come from Brene Brown in one of her talks about belonging. We're hardwired for belonging. It's in our DNA, but let me tell you what belonging is. The opposite of belonging, from the research, is fitting in. Fitting in is assessing and acclimating. Here's what I should say. Here's what I shouldn't say. Here's what I should avoid talking about. Here's what I should dress like, look like, etc. That's fitting in. True belonging is belonging to yourself first, speaking your truth, telling your story, and never betraying yourself for other people. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are, and that's vulnerable.
Let, let us carry the flame of the chalice into the world, serving others with love and a sense of justice. Please join me in reading the words provided as we extinguish the chalice. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your life cup overflows. Hey, that's not what's up there. Thought it seemed awful quiet. Okay, well, we could do this one too since everybody can see it. The way is often hard. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone.
Both were great.
Before our closing song, we have time for a few brief announcements.